Currently on court 1, looking at a camera of court 2, which is close but not directly in front of us. The game has started. The camera went down for a minute. This was chaos. So all's to say, we're hoping for maybe 10 measures of grace here. It is the first set. Australia. So Halen, I said, fans get to take a shot. Espresso, alcohol, whatever they want. If ever I make an error between Australia and Austria, as there's 2 players remaining for Austria up against 4 for Australia. Oz, shot fired. Burden to throw right now on Austria. Again, if you're just tuning in here, we're grateful to be showing you this feed and telling you about the game, but if you're a player watching later saying, hey, why didn't you mention my name, is because you are currently maybe 5 centimeters tall in front of us right now.
Yeah, certainly not ideal circumstances, but we work with what we got in this very busy gym, full of amazing players for the World Championships.
And Halen, correct me if I'm wrong here, we're in the quarterfinals as regards the women's foam bracket.
That is correct, Ben. This is the do or die moment. If you want to continue on to the semis, you got to win this game.
Winners only. And while you're watching the TV feed, which I will not stop emphasizing that we can't look at the real thing, is let's take a look at how the playoffs have proceeded. Well, this is first the playoffs, so let's take a look at the tournament thus far. So a point is awarded to Australia. We're looking at the foam women, Australia.
Yes,
long-time
Australia.
top team. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to say that too, Ben. Australia, a long-time top performer in the WDBF, and we see Gigi make an amazing hand grab to catch her player in before she walks out. Great job by Australia to actually motion, no, you're safe.
And refs talking, Fayed with the throw. Australia had 4 wins, 1 loss, and a plus-minus differential that looked really impressive of 22. Meanwhile, Austria, if I can find them here, is same group, which is interesting. They had 3 wins, 2 losses, and a -1 point differential. So not unsurprising that Australia, who is currently ranked,
I would assume 3rd, that's my guess.
better on, they're 3rd at Worlds, but 2nd overall. Canada, the winner at Worlds, is currently ranked the 3rd best team in the world. Interesting, says my Canadian bias, but 4v4 as we look up, and an out made. Austria with the player advantage, Australia with the ball advantage.
Yes, and with Australia, you want to watch out for veteran Alex Young. Longtime performer on this team, absolute clutch beast when it comes to the do or die moments in this game. And so I'm assuming Australia going to be relying on that veteran experience as they do have a bit of a newer roster, missing some longtime veterans such as Carolyn Lee. And you see Austria makes a great hit.
Now 3v1.
That was Huber.
Big shot, better block. Mali, tagged out in the end. Now 2v1, big pump fakes on defense. 2-ball block. Shot clock reset, burden to throw, Austria. Big rip, player protecting.
And we see the refs Double checking something. I think just balls coming into court from another court.
All right, what's the go-to move here? Can't sacrifice a player. You don't want to go 1-1. Looking for the opening on the throw. Is it going to be counter time? Ooh, good rush. Putting two in between the target.
We're seeing strong defense out of Australia right now. But Austria making smart plays.
Shot fired, goes wide. Easily blocked. Oh, not. Well, that's when you'd want to see the real deal there. That looked like a great block and good sportsmanship out of Australia. And now Austria has their first point, 1-1.
And it looks like we're seeing the Austrian coach hyping up player 96 higher, giving some feedback.
Both sides ready for the opening rush. Good moves on both sides. Ends up being an elimination for an Austrian player and an Australian player.
We now see the teams in an even player count.
Fayed trying to be sneaky with that play. Ali was well aware of it. Shot clock going against Austria.
Australia.
No, Austria.
Oh, shot clock. Okay.
4v4, and that elimination of Holcomb makes it tied up for players. Here we are. Two on target, turning around. Fayed saying, sorry, I'd go for it if I could. Oh, and saying, oh, actually, maybe I stepped off?
I didn't catch that.
No one did.
Okay.
Mali eliminated, now 3v2. So far we're seeing a very even back and forth.
And to be honest, Ben, from watching both these teams so far in the round robin, I do expect this to be a close game. Austria has been showing some good promise. They're being methodical in their offense and defense.
Ref confirms, hit the ground first.
On that note, though, they invest their last two balls trying to get out that rush attacker.
So, and it's one thing I've noticed. So let's say, kind of, who would you name as sort of the big four in foam, countries-wise?
The big four in foam would be Canada, US, Malaysia, and Australia.
Exactly. Australia is one of them. Then the European Dodgeball Federation teams, they don't have a regional foam, or at least they haven't yet had a foam championship. It's something as a whole zeitgeist that I'm noticing with these two balls going together, often not staggered. And what we're rarely seeing is a slow retreat or someone staying on offense. We'll see, does it happen in this situation? If Huber provides that ongoing pressure, what we tend to see is the quick retreat. So that might just be the difference in the game, is what I would guess.
Yeah, and Austria, known for being the best in the world for cloth, and so a lot of these players often coming from that game, but we see the Australian make a great shot on number 3, and that is Sutter, eliminated. We see Hare coming up with a call.
That goes wide. Hare probably, yeah, patented signs of kind of the wet hands when you look at it. She thankfully has a towel. Back and forth exchange. Hare out now, 1v1. I think that's Mei Nguyen. Great play on her part. Good throw, better block. Both players playing top of their game right now. Huber active, rushing up.
Both players being very careful to always keep on ball.
Uh-oh.
But wow, that's an aggressive move out of Huber.
Especially there is a basket full of balls on the Australian side. She drops one.
And Australia clutches that 1v1, going into a 2-1 lead. And I think that those are the moments where you see a little more of the experience come out. In 1v1s, it's often about the first player to make a mistake rather than just having the better shot. It's very easy at this level for most of these players to dodge a ball one shot alone.
All right, sorry about that. My quietness there. I'm like, for the record of your, those of you watching, we couldn't see what was going on for a brief moment there, and I was intently listening to Halen without a purpose in my life,
and a catch.
Bringing it in for a catch. No damage on the opening rush, but when that shot was fired, easy money on the catch. 2 shot, not connecting. Lisa Seabach staying alive. Play call now out of Australia. 1, 2, connecting.
Wow, and that is 3 succinct shots out of Australia. We're now going to see a 5v2, I believe. Now quickly turned into a 5v1.
Charging. Do you say crashing?
Crashing?
So, yeah, Josh Sekera was saying crashing, and I like it.
That is, yeah, it's interesting. Oh, and
Ow.
Australia just closes that point. It is so interesting to me how even though Sakura and I and you are all from the same country, our regional dialects around the game is so different.
And to be fair, the distance between where you and I live would be the entirety of Europe.
Yes.
As we're both islanders,
Yeah.
but the exact opposite side of the country islanders.
Beast Coast and Best Coast.
We tightened up the feed. Now burden on Austria. 4 in the attack zone. They send 2. Connecting on 1. Good defense, Austria. Getting out of the way, the single ball throw. 5v6. Burden to throw, Austria. Good counter, ends up being a connection. Rosa Nimrichter gets rewarded with another ball for that one. Now 4 Austrian women headed to the line.
And this is a very important point. When we look at a 3-1 score, if Australia manages to close it, a 3-point deficit is when you start feeling a little squashed, if I have, for lack of a better word. And so if Austria can close this, great word, thank you, then, you know, we keep everything in a 1-1 game. They're only 1 behind. It feels a lot more manageable. But 3 points is when you start to feel a little bit worried.
Yeah, and usually, like, there'd be a timeout called by Austria. You want to, like, they'd need to stop it, kind of say, hey, what can we do?
Yes, because 3 points, that turns into 4 points. That's when you're starting to see a little bit of devastation, and you have too much debt to climb out of.
Meanwhile, goes 3-2. That's feeling great.
Exactly. This is what I mean to say about this is this point really is a momentum determiner.
Is it going to be the darkest timeline? Is it going to be all as well?
Well, that depends on what team you're cheering for, Ben.
Austria readies.
Strong block out of Australia, but the ball rolls back, so it's still going to be on Austria.
That's one of those reasons why you try and kind of swipe it a certain way. But the downside of that side swipe, as Fayed is eliminated, is you might swipe it into a teammate.
It's also a more difficult block for sure. It
Absolutely.
takes a higher skill level.
You have to time it just so.
I'm not gonna lie, when I'm getting thrown at, I'm more concerned about making the block than where it's going.
4 players to 3. Good opportunity here for Austria, putting one right on target, but just too low. With the player advantage, burden stays with Austria. Solo throw, resetting the shot clock. Don't see the fourth. Oh, there's the fourth ball, ripped high and wide.
And I think this is a good choice from Australia, only choosing to throw one, making sure every player has a defensive ball. Oh, but they choose a pre-counter, and number 69, Skucklitz, makes a fantastic catch.
Unbelievably huge swing here in favor of Austria.
And there's a trade that takes place,
That's
and now
exactly what you want.
it's a 4v1. Exactly, Ben.
This is not going to be Austria's darkest timeline, or is it? Good protection, didn't need the block. Ooh, sneaky. Extra aggressive.
I don't mind it if the player was looking away.
Oh, a little mop moment.
We see the...
There's got to be a timeout with this much time.
Yeah, I believe it is likely, especially with 2.5 minutes.
I think it was called by Australia.
Yeah, I do think it's... sorry, that's what I was going to say. Your hand gestures. We're so good at communicating with that non-verbally. With 2.5 minutes left and a player in a very important situation like this, taking the time to make sure your player is rested, talk about a play and a plan, very important. We are just having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we seem to be back online.
So we'll just monitor the chat, and if you're in the YouTube live chat, if you continue to see the feed be gone, let us know. Everyone. Getting nice and low. 2 shots fired, not connecting. Trade opportunity, and it works. That's what you do. Now the final 2 minutes of the first half, and it's a 3-2 game. Austria has the opportunity to tie it up.
Yeah, and it's very likely that this next point is going to go into no blocking as we're under the 2-minute mark. Personally, that's kind of my favorite way to end the first half, is how can we tie this up?
Roster switch, saying Huber, get on court. Quick opening rush, quicker for Australia, but a bobbled ball. Good hops by Hare. Now joined by our teammates, Richter. What do we have as a pause here? Malley on the left.
I believe the players are pointing at the clock, potentially. Usually when this happens, Ben, it's to Terry and then I make the joke that we should send you down with a microphone. Oh. But now we need Terry.
So what we also need is like little zip lines.
Yes. Or a fireman's pole.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I would absolutely burn our hands because we're like 2 feet high, or 2 stories high. Quick steps and throwing in motion. I think that's a Halen approved play there, right?
Absolutely. Always step into your throw if you have the room and ability to do so. As
the counter rush takes out the opposing winger, 5-5 with under a minute remaining.
And that's definitely something I want to see more about Australia. They have a fast team. What I want to see a little less of is the pre-counters. But that post-rush is definitely something that would be a strength of theirs, given their current roster.
Shots exchanged in favor of Australia. Now with less than 30 seconds remaining in this first half, this is the last set we'll be seeing in the first half. Getting out of the way and firing. Great shot on target. Nicola Sutter. 4 players to 4.
10 seconds left.
Balls exchanging back and forth.
2 Australian players removed, and we are going to go into no blocking in a 4v2 in favor of Austria. It is looking like we may see a tie going into the second half, but let's not give up hope on these Australians. If there's a time that fast turnarounds can happen, it is in no blocking.
Burden to throw, Austria firing back and forth. Fayed with a great preemptive strike. And a quick release by Huber resets the shot clock. No elimination on the throw.
Yes, Fayed has been here several times. She knows how to play this as a veteran at the world stage.
Send it back and forth.
There's
She brings it in for a catch.
Suddenly, it's a 3-2 switch for Australia.
They ready into the attack zone. A early release, off body. Resets. But yeah, thinking about it, as was Huber, but now it's 3v1 Australia over Austria here. Full send, 1, 2, 3.
And
all
you're
Halen.
out.
4-2 at the end of the half. Close game.
Very close game, and I'm excited for the rest of it.
Well, this is close enough that I would say, correct me if I'm wrong here, no one really needs to change their game.
No, I think the thing is when we get into close games like this, sometimes people get a little bit sloppy because they really want to get ahead. And so making sure that both teams are, only taking a shot when you're very confident in your placement. Sometimes we see an opportunity and we throw anyway, even if we might not be in the best position to make the shot. And I think if you see Australia, they've missed a few accurate opportunities when it comes to the pre-counter. And when you pre-counter, Austria has enough experience. They know to reset, get that ball, let's make a team throw from here. So those small choices, you got to be sure about them, and you got to make sure that if you're going to take that chance, that risk, you make the shot.
Well said. And another way to put that would be like when talent is like all things being equal on the kind of the major or the macro parts of the game, it's one in the margins. So like how do you plan the scenarios when someone on the right side, you've got 3 at the line, one of you sends, what do the other 2 do? Because it looks like the default is retreat back to the back line.
Yeah.
If there's at least other alternatives, especially when you're up on players or you've got 4 balls and you only threw 1, it's like working on those moments, because otherwise I would say Austria is pretty uniform in what they would choose to do, whereas where you're pointing out, Australia has all sorts of tricks in the bag to win in the margins.
Absolutely, and when we have close games, it's all about unforced errors. Whichever team makes the most unforced errors, that's the team that's going to lose. Now, one thing that Australia is good at historically, which I'm hoping to see a little more in the second half, as we had some difficulties in the first half, they know how to play a disruptive game. Sometimes dodgeball can be a little polite. Oh, it's your turn to throw. Now it's my turn. And those pre-counters do have their place in the game. Australia is willing to take those, and they do have a purpose and a time. Now, how does Austria adjust to Australia's willingness to disrupt the game in that regard?
We shall see in this second half. Quarterfinals, women's foam. Now on the near end, Australia. Who we mentioned before is paradoxically the second-ranked team, 3rd overall at Worlds.
I'm very interested to see how they
Indeed.
determine these
yeah,
ratings.
how the winners from 2022 have dropped down to third overall.
Like, do they do it based on all previous world medals?
Well, certainly there'd be a little recency ranking here in that at the North American Caribbean Dodgeball Federation Championship, they got second, whereas Malaysia was the winner of theirs. But then, again, to make you shrug your shoulders, Australia was third in their regional championship. So,
interesting.
the more you know, the less we understand. Big shot fired right on. Oh, I was supposed to say right on target. I thought she was tossing her balls. And now burden to throw, Austria. Getting low and out of the way, Jenny Ear. Burden to throw, Australia.
Ear just missing low. Easy jump for Austria.
Early jump for Georgie Grosset. She wasn't the target. Let's watch and see what the Austria defense does. They have a preemptive throw on ball. Good block by Holcomb.
And a catch from Fayed.
Ooh,
The
sneaky.
shadow catch.
The old shadow. And what was the conjuring move that? Oh, Fayed's bringing some extra sizzle.
And that's what you need in these games. You need to make your team feel good, because often when players feel good and they're having fun, that's when they're going to play best.
They're more likely to be in the zone. It's a battle of chemicals. There's a great shot and great vibes. Celebration, Grosset, high-fiving, Holcomb. There's the ups when she needed it. And a great shot again. Stephanie Lowe out of the left wing.
Now we see Australia in a strong position, a 63.
Solo, two balls at Fayed, but she stays alive, and Lowe is eliminated. See who holds up the left wing. Will Fayed stay there? 1-2, waterfall. Do you call it waterfall like 3+ balls, or can that be 1-2? Staggered, obviously.
I think I just call it staggered, yeah. To me, a waterfall is a drill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what we call one of our drills.
Is this top secret, or?
No, it's pretty common. It's just you have one person stand at the back line, and then everyone takes turns throwing at you down the line.
Oh, as a warm-up drill.
Yeah, warm-up drill,
okay.
exactly.
But it is multiple balls being staggered thrown at you, right?
Yeah, so you want to be like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Whoop, catch
5.
opportunity taken. Catches win matches. Big turnaround. Went from 3-4 to 4-3.
You know I'll fight you on that stance, Ben. Oh, and another one.
Yeah.
Never mind. Maybe I'll be corrected on this point.
Snatching defeat from victory here. Holcomb showing us that, a good throw is a great way to a victory as well. Throws are the way to goes.
Oh, okay, we'll work on that one.
Yeah, if it don't rhyme, that's not the plan. 2v4, 2 balls apiece for the Australian women. They ready, set, hard throw in between targets. Burden, Austria.
Oh, and that is a long shot out of Austria. They thought that they could catch Holcomb sleeping, but that is a lower probability shot for sure. You're trying to choose
Coast to coast, tough.
Coast to coast, exactly. It's the slowest reaching throw to a target, right? Because it's taking the most time to get there. It's harder to be accurate with it. And it's another catch from Austria.
Has there been catches
3
earlier in this match until this set?
Only pop-ups, I believe.
Yeah. Versus like straight shooting catches. Now, here we are, Samantha Holcomb solo.
And speaking about momentum, multiple catches is how you build momentum.
Oh, because it's the baseball equivalent home run. Like just boom, you catch, and this like tremendous excitement. Because like that big release, right?
Yeah, and a player's always super excited to come back in.
You literally resurrect someone.
How many sports do you get to do that?
And we're on the back line. 15 minutes, 20-odd seconds remaining in the second half. Plenty of time for both teams. Holcomb sets, cross. Hey, great move here, Austria. There was shadowing, and there was sustained pressure.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see, and you see them go for a pinch here.
Not to be confused with pinching in the rule book. Which is,
should I start calling it crashing?
Pinching, I think, is good in its specificity, right? Like you're coming in at the angle, right?
Yes.
I do like the crash.
I would almost see crashing as someone like falling down, personally. Oh, and is that a trade?
Holcomb alive and slightly injured, ever so slightly, looking good all right already as Mally. Holcomb doing her part to draw out the set.
Yes, and Australia not exactly in a position yet to be worrying about the clock. They don't want to play slow in order to maintain this lead because they don't have a big enough gap in the score for that to be advantageous. But Holcomb playing patient until she threw the fourth there, but she survives it.
And it almost touched the shoe, so hey-oh. Slightly off body throw, unable to pull that one in for a catch. Now 3-1. It was 5-1, correct?
Correct.
She got one, she got another.
Yeah, Holcomb playing this very well. She's not going too high and giving Austria the opportunity to pinch her again. She's taking her shots when she feels confident.
Easy 2-ball block, resets the shot clock, sends one on ball.
And I like the aggressive choice of taking the shot when she thinks Austria is going to throw a team throw because it disrupts the pacing. And she doesn't do it that time because she doesn't want to be predictable. But she is going to be potentially losing this ball over the middle line.
And it's unfortunate because she, we talked about, it's not easy to aim your refraction. And that one got her. Just a shot on the finger.
Yes, Holcomb clearly between decisions of do I throw or do I block, and unfortunately when you hesitate in that decision, that's often when you get hit.
And admittedly, when you go 5v1, you do bring down 2 players, but you got to be very fatigued. So that mental snap as Lee was about to be on court, we almost had 7. And an early run here by Nguyen, not caught by the refs. Jenny Ear now taking the wing. Nope, she's going to pass the ball on. Left wing low. See any roster changes. Brosit. Speaking of Young, she was off for at least a couple sets, and there she is. Center court. Big rip from her, fresh arm. There's like something about this lineup where they're kind of uneasy with where they are. Hopefully they can settle into it quickly.
Yeah, Young historically has played corner a lot for Australia. So seeing her in the second in position, I gotta wonder if it's because she's a veteran, she can help with play calling. Or maybe this is just where she's comfortable.
Good active blocking by Nguyen. Ball rolls onto the Austria end. It'll be their burden to throw. Nope, because the last to throw is Australia.
That was a commanding hit
Kapow.
out of number 4, Nguyen.
And let's get to the back line. Full court. Australia, 4 Austrians with the ball apiece. It's their burden to throw. They send to Fayad. Hands up. I don't know where it is. It's uncatchable.
Yes, strong, committed throws out of Austria.
Pump fakes, pressuring, pushing back the Australian woman. Young kind of saying like, hey, I'm unarmed.
Well, a 7th ball came
exactly.
into the court.
Good work on her part.
They're
now
going to reset.
Get to the back line. Grosset, kind of quick hands here. She's trying to draw attention. Whoop, and great hands. Young.
And that's definitely something that Alex Young is known for. She's a fantastic catcher.
Young but not inexperienced.
Oh, but Austria trying to get their a catch of their own.
Jumps. Oh, sneaky below the balls. That was just perfect. Below the knees, above the shoes. The shin shot. Now 1v everybody. Ready for Young on the... Okay, that was a bounce on the ground. I was about to say for the shadow catch. Just took the words out of my mouth with that reaction.
Oh, and it looks like Australia's left corner, Lowe, was prepared to throw, but stepped over the middle line and was called out.
Clear, Young pressuring. So this is an example of advanced play work as they stayed on offense. No retreat, and a great shot from Ear makes it 5-3. Okay, because I looked up.
Actually, Nguyen made the shadow catch behind Young to close that point.
It wasn't a throw out? Oh,
there must have been a throw and a catch.
Oh, okay.
That's so interesting because I didn't see the throw.
It's interesting.
You didn't see the catch.
We did spread out our vision here.
But we covered it. Like, we covered the court fully.
Ooh, that's a preemptive. Yeah, that's a false start. She's owning that one. She did have a false start the last one, but I'm glad it was noticed now.
Yes, you're allowed 2 false starts per half. If you make a second false start in the half, then, sorry, you're allowed 1. If you have 2, you lose the player.
For the entirety of the set.
For that point.
Otherwise known as the set.
Sure.
But it was actually one of the things I thought it was treated as like a hit out.
Yes.
But you run with 5 until a point is scored. Fly eliminated. Advantage right now, Austria, but ball advantage, Australia. Shot right on target. It's funny that the whistle from the nearby court is very close to us, and I was like, oh, what happened? But then I realized that's from a different game. Calamity ensuing. Young eliminated, as is Hare.
Yeah, Austria choosing to stay up high when Australia went for that rush counter, and they punished the rushers instead, but it didn't exactly work out in their favor.
Good ball block. Burden on Austria. Shot goes wide, ball block. No eliminations. Ball retriever sending a couple in. Could have been a moment there where they could take that shot on Low as she was retrieving. And another great shot.
And it's a catch out of Austria. I wish I knew which player it was, but it was phenomenal.
Yeah, preemptive throw and shot on Fayed eliminates her. Lynn doing a good job staying alive. 3 Austrians, 2 Australians. Ooh, bravery on the part here of Grosset. Gets herself a ball at the line, is not challenged.
And with only 7 minutes left, Austria needs this point if they want to have a chance to tie it up.
Okay, yeah, I was like, Grosset took that ball and made an out, and I think for a minute there she was kind of saying, hey, like, what's going on? But now 2v2. They crisscross.
I don't love a crisscross in this moment. You need to put 2 balls on 1 target. You're in the desperation zone at this point. You got to close this point out.
It's obvious math, but the reason behind that is you now have double the players. If you could just take 1 out, you've halved your opposition.
Absolutely.
Ooh, they go for it, but now it's Australia with the player advantage.
And these are the high-risk decisions that can put you in that player deficit. And one of the reasons why I don't love the phrase catches win matches, because miscatches lose matches. And if you can throw a team out, if you're only against 2 and you have a partner, you just have to get your 1.
And there's only one to get right now for Austria. 5 minutes, 45 seconds, and that looks like a timeout called.
A good choice from the Austrian side, I believe. We only have 5 minutes and 44 seconds left. For my random knowledge, I estimate that an average round of dodgeball is about 3.5 minutes. So when we're looking at this, Austria ideally only has 2, maybe 3 points that they could squeeze in if this one finishes quickly.
If they were behind, they maximum 2. They're likely. We've got to remember the games are a little bit shorter than are in our mind.
Yes, they have to finish before 30 seconds if they want to have time to have a rush and play into no blocking. So Austria really either needs to win fast or lose fast at this point. Preferably win fast for sure.
But yeah, if they feel that they're getting dragged on, that's the one thing. Is like if it was 3 or 4 to 1, would you suggest a step off?
I would.
It's taking on 4 Australians would
well,
might
you
eat
know
the
what I
final
would actually
2.
suggest in that moment, Ben? Going for a catch.
Oh!
Because that is the high-risk maneuver that you need in that moment. The catches 100% have their places.
And where we're in total agreement as that player stays clear is it's high leverage. Yeah, if you pull in the catch, net 2 player difference.
A 2v3 is way more tangible.
Sliding, staying alive.
Now, our Austrian player can take their time because if they win this out before 30 seconds, then it gives Austria a chance to tie it up and potentially go into overtime because we're in playoffs.
Yeah, and this is like your message loud and clear is this is the most important set.
Yes, 100%. And that's why this Austrian player and the Australian player really need to make sure that they don't have any unforced errors. You have to play this perfect.
Grosset hopping and putting her face out of the way. And sliding, strafing well out of the way of the throw. Play call. Splitting sides now. And that's what does it to get the point. I love that. We saw Nguyen go left wing. And if you have a slightly different throw style, that could impact how the defender, who's used to saying stop, stop, stop after, a minute? And then it's like, oh, well, how do you deal with my throw